Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your weekly astrology forecast for the week of August 3rd to the 9th of 2025. Sorry, your weekly intuitive astrology forecast. I don't know if I said that. Anyways, still Mercury retrograde, Before we get into the charts for this week, if you're looking for any kind of a reading with me, all of those links are in the description below. If you get confused on what's what or whatever, just go to my link tree. Everything is listed out nicely there for you for which ones to choose. And again, before I start my videos, as I always say at the beginning, my guidance has been and likely always will be astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things. Meaning the astrology, the chart, the energetic cycles are like a math formula, okay? But there's variables that exist within that formula that we are able to change because, of course, we have free will, all right? So I tune in to all of the aspects here. Everything is intuitive. So if I make a prediction about a specific event or someone or anything like that, it is always subject to change because, of course, we have free will to change it, okay? But that energetic template is still there. Things are going to be still happening surrounding these. Whatever changes are occurring or whatever's happening is going to be surrounding these energetic themes. It's going to exist within that math formula, if that makes sense, right? An example is like for yourself. For example, your higher self, in order to create the character that it wanted to play in this lifetime of you, it needed to come in at a certain time where the energy was conducive to creating that character, okay? And that's, of course, your birth chart. All right, so that's how this works. And of course, when I get stuff through intuitively, you have to remember that I'm being given an example or a vibe of what that aspect and what that energy is. It may not be a specific thing that's going to happen to someone or anything. It's the vibe of that energy. And I continue to tune in, and we can, through that, you kind of get an overall energetic vibe of the week. All right. With all that being said, I think that is it. I can just pull up the chart on my end here and we can get started for this week. So we're going to start here on Sunday, August 3rd. And of course, the only thing that I kind of see on my little list here today is this Uranus here. Excuse me. Where am I looking? There we go. Uranus here in quintile to the north node in Pisces. For a second there, I thought it was the south node, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. What is going on? But it's the north node, of course. Mercury retrograde. It's anyways. So with this Uranus in quintile to the north node here, I am just going to do a quick tune in here to this energy intuitively to see this Uranian energy quintile north node. It feels like an aspect of this shake-up and change to make, I want to say, unknown progress forward. I say unknown because we're dealing with that aspect of Pisces, but we're heading in a direction in which we don't know, or maybe we've never experienced before. And I've said this before constantly with the North Node being in Pisces. We may not know the direction in which we're going in, but we know that we have to go there. Okay, that's kind of the vibe of this energy here in terms of that aspect. All right, let me just do a quick tune in again to see if there's anything else surrounding this. Anything specific maybe for that Uranus and Gemini. The thing is, it's just an overall vibe of change, but it feels like there's a lot going on. Like we're in the sign of Gemini, and it just feels like with this, it's like a lot going on. Gemini it's very quick, and so it can feel like there's a lot going on, a lot like that seems like happening out of nowhere or unstable or this kind of a dynamic. And through that, it's kind of like, but another thing I'm being drawn to is in that vision there, it's like I'm seeing it from an overlooking perspective, but this stuff, because this is a quintile, it's happening, but it may not be like we're aware of it, but it may not be like always at the forefront. It's like we're very busy with whatever this Uranus, these changes, this instability, this kind of stuff is. It's like there's a busyness that's going along with that. And so we may not be like fully, how do I say this? Fully focused on maybe like one big thing that's occurring or one whatever. And I get that that's kind of what this quintile is. Excuse me. So I burp like that. That's usually the guide saying pay attention to that. Okay. And it's not necessarily the traditional definition of what that quintile is, because it's something that's maybe normally that's kind of happening behind the scenes, or we just don't notice it. And that's kind of what that is, except we are noticing it, but it's not, but it's like there's so much going on that it's like there's not one thing that's really at the forefront of everything, if that makes any kind of sense. But all of it somehow relates to this path going forward here, but it's unknown. We're maybe not sure where we're going or what's going on with this North Node in Pisces. Okay, so that is Sunday the 3rd here. Let me move on to Monday the 4th. Now on Monday the 4th here, and of course, these are all minor aspects that I'm looking at. If nobody's watched me before, I do minor aspects as well, because minor aspects really aren't minor. They're just aspects like the other aspects. They all count for something. There's an energetic vibe to all of that. Okay, so just focusing on a few things because somebody says they're major is not really... Anyway, I don't want to get into starting a fight with anyone or anything, but that's really just what my guidance, so how I feel with this. They're all very strong in their own way. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So the sun here, okay, starting at the top of the list. The sun here in semisextile to Jupiter. Now the sun in Leo, Jupiter in Cancer. So let me just tune in here to this sun in semisextile to Jupiter. Okay, I think what I'm initially being guided to talk about here first, before I tune into this, is this aspect of Lionsgate. So astrologically, the traditional definition of Lionsgate that exists is not really very accurate. So I don't have it on this chart here, but it talks about the sun lining up with Sirius and Orion's belt or whatever. I don't know about Orion's belt, but like the actual fixed star Sirius, I know is right smack dab in the middle of Cancer. Okay, so astrologically, that's not lining up at all. That simply just does not happen. But the other day I did receive intuitive guidance to speak about this, and it is regarding what astrologically Lionsgate actually is, because there's a lot of people, it's not just 8/8, they talk about it's sometime before, sometime after, whatever, and there is an energy there. Okay, there is an energy there. Whether or not I'd call it a portal, I don't know. I mean, you could call it that because it's how it affects with that energy surrounding that time each year. But a lot of energies could be portals then, and maybe they are. I'm not knocking what people are calling it, and I don't want to necessarily knock what people are tuning into when they're getting into this energy, because my guidance was that there is something here. It's just not what we're told what it is. All right. So what is it then? Well, so my guidance was, and to understand this, you have to understand how each zodiac sign is broken down. So here at the bottom of the chart, we have this sign of Leo. Now, I don't know if this is going to come through in the video very well, but you kind of see these large ticks. So there's a tick here approximately every 10 degrees in the sign. What that's doing is that separates the sign into what are called decans, or sections of 10 degrees. So each sign is 30 degrees, and each decan is 10 degrees. Okay, each decan has a planetary ruler. So the first decan of Leo is the planet. Has the same ruler as the sign's planetary ruler. So in this case, that's the sun. Now the second decan of Leo, and this goes for each sign, so I'm going to describe this as in a general way. The second decan is then the planetary ruler of the following zodiac sign in zodiacal order of the same element. So for Leo, in this case, it would be the next fire sign in zodiacal order, which would be up here as Sagittarius. What rules Sagittarius is Jupiter. Okay, and then of course the third decan would be the next one, which would then be Aries, and of course the ruler of that is Mars, and that would rule the third decan of Leo. If you wanted to go through another sign, Virgo, the first decan would be ruled by Mercury, second decan would be Saturn, third decan would be Venus. Okay, so that's kind of how you can look at that. Now, what my guidance was, is because people are talking about, the positivity of Lionsgate and okay, sorry about that, everybody. There was some technical difficulties. Mercury retrograde again, of course, the same that happened last week, so we'll just have to roll with it for this video again. But I did take the time now, if I go to the chart here, to actually add Sirius into this chart. So you can see here the fixed star Sirius, it's at 14 degrees of Cancer. You can see it's highlighted as Sirius up here. And so, yeah, that's where the star Sirius is. So, and the sun is over here at 12 degrees of Leo. Okay? In fact, it's not even making a minor aspect to the star Sirius. Well, not yet. But I mean, like, that's what I'm saying here is like this is not necessarily what, like, it really has nothing to do with that fixed star of Sirius, okay? But anyways, I just finished explaining decans. So, now we'll get into what my guidance was that this second decan of Leo, because a lot of people talk about the Lionsgate of how it's not just 8-8. They say it's 8-8 because numerologically 8-8, whatever that aspect of like numerology in terms of the portal, whatever. I'm not here to knock anybody's stuff, but I am an astrologer, okay? And well, I'm also do cards and other things, but right now I'm doing astrology. And from this perspective, it's not necessarily the numerology that really matters with this, okay? Not knocking anybody else's work, not saying anything like that. Other people do their own thing, all right? But I am doing it from this perspective. Now, with this, what was I going on about? So people talk about how there's like a window, okay? And they're probably tuning into the energy of what this is. And the thing is, yeah, what they're tuning into is that second decan of Leo, okay? That second decan of Leo is ruled by Jupiter. That's where you get this like expansive, positive, whatever type of energy they're talking about that supposedly comes from the star Sirius, that the sun is supposedly in alignment with when it's not astrologically at all, because the star Sirius is at 14 degrees of Cancer and not in Leo. And I'm pulling up the chart here to literally show you this. And what that guidance is that it's because the sun is in the second decan of Leo, ruled by Jupiter, the effects of that Lionsgate, or that expansive, very expanded, effect of Jupiter, expanding whatever it touches, with that sun in Leo, that Leo energy and stuff, that's the energy of Lionsgate. Now, what that can relate to here is the fact that each Lionsgate is different because Jupiter is going to be in a different sign every year, okay? And wherever Jupiter is, and even the decan of the sign that Jupiter is in is going to be affecting this Lionsgate type of energy. So if we look at this year, for example, we have obviously the sun there and that second decan ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in fact in the second decan of Cancer, which if we have a look here is ruled by what? Pluto, which is over here in Aquarius, in the first decan of Aquarius, which is ruled by what? Uranus. Uranus is here in the first decan of Gemini, ruled by what? Mercury. Mercury is over here retrograde in the first decan of Leo, ruled by what? The sun. In the second decan, further Lionsgate, ruled by Jupiter, etc., and the cycle is there. So all of that energy, all of that I talked about, is related to this Lionsgate. Every last bit of it. Okay, so all those energies are there, interconnected, working with each other. All of that is related to this this year's Lionsgate. Other years' Lionsgate depends where Jupiter is, what it's going on, and all that energy is affecting that. All right. So, and interestingly, they're wanting me to talk about this on August 4th and not on August 8th when supposedly Lionsgate is, because of what they're saying, that this is the whole actual decan here, that it exists, it starts and ends not just on that time frame, but roughly, because our calendar system, it can differ each year based on where the sun is on those specific dates, that this is roughly starts somewhere at the beginning of August and ends somewhere in the middle of August, where the sun is in the second decan of Leo. Okay, and that's the Lionsgate energy, that Lionsgate portal, as we're dealing with that aspect of Jupiter. All right, so that's my guidance on that. That's what they wanted me to bring forth in this video, and so I have. All right, through much technical difficulty and turmoil through that. I'm just gonna have a drink of water here. Okay, so that is that, and it doesn't make sense to me because I've never really felt aligned with Lionsgate, and my guidance always has been it's not like, but there's always like something there, but it wasn't like the explanation of it was just complete BS to me, and this is why. Okay, it's not aligned with Sirius at all astrologically. Okay, anyways, let's have a look here now, what I was talking about before with this sun in semi-sextile here to Jupiter. Okay, now let me have a tune in here. This sun in semi-sextile to Jupiter. I'm seeing water, like waves of water. I feel like this strong aspect of Leo intensifying this. It's like it's bringing it. Leo is like the spotlight. It's like the spotlight. It's highlighting this energy. It's bringing it to that forefront. It's that expression. So it's this expression. It's almost like this masculine expression, or that masculine movement of maybe that water. And with Jupiter and Cancer, I'm feeling that big energy in terms of like waves. And that's what I'm getting with this. This could actually be like physical water stuff happening, waves, that kind of things, maybe like tsunamis or just large waves or something like that, or just something is making waves, like there's, whether it's emotionally or whatever, there's this aspect of, making waves that is occurring here with this. Let me just, but I got actual like water. Let me tune into this more. This sun in semi-sextile to Jupiter. Nothing different. It's still just that same thing, that aspect of like waves, like choppy ocean waves, and it's being very like highlighted with this. There's that strong Jupiter expanding that Cancerian water energy that is happening here with that. Also on this day too, we have the sun here in biquintile to the North Node, as well as in quintile to Uranus. Okay, excuse me, let me just tune in here to this. When I burped there, I was thinking about this Uranus quintile here to the North Node as well, and I feel like they're saying that, yeah, that's probably related to regarding whatever these changes in direction forward. So let me tune in though here and just see. So this sun in biquintile to the North Node. It's highlighting a direction forward, but it feels like this, it's almost like it feels like energy lifting up. Like it's an uplifting of energy. It's like whatever is happening. What I get is like whatever the craziness that is happening, there's this lifting up that is occurring. Like there's this energetic, I almost want to say energetic elevation, but it's like a healing. For those of you that have either experienced a Reiki healing or have maybe done Reiki, when you're doing it and you feel it's like, a lot of times what I'll get is when you do the healing, you can feel almost like the darkness or the shell like drifting away, and then all of a sudden the person's being or energy comes back or is able to come through, or it comes to light. It's almost like this, whatever's going on, and then you're able to like clear. It's like a clearing that's occurring, and then you kind of like, your vibration or whatever lifts up. That's what this feels like to me. With this direction going forward. So something is being highlighted here through that with this Sun in Leo, Lionsgate energy, this aspect of maybe these changes through Uranus, like this craziness that's going on, and then this movement forward into this, like, I almost want to say higher realm or higher vibrational state in some way. Let me just tune into here with this quintile itself to Uranus, the Sun in quintile to Uranus. For some reason, I almost got that aspect of Jupiter with the waves again. That's odd. Just what do I need to know from this? That Sun in quintile to Uranus. Just an aspect of change. Okay, highlighted through this Leo energy and through whatever those waves are, whether it's like the physical earth stuff or waves that are being made in other ways, but it's like this making waves, and through this aspect of change that is causing like this some kind of elevation going forward. And what I'm getting now is that this is because of these quintiles and biquintiles, it could be the actual movement forward with these aspects, or what it's really doing is unseen or maybe unknown. We're seeing whatever on the surface level that is occurring regarding these changes or waves, etc. But the actual effect that is going on is what's happening behind the scenes, or what is not fully known or being made aware of. It's there, it's not like necessarily hiding, but it's not really fully known in some way here. All right, interesting. So that's Monday the 4th. Let's move on to Tuesday the 5th here. Of course, on Tuesday the 5th, we're going to have Mercury retrograde here in this semi-sextile to Venus. All right, and then Venus in quintile to the South Node. Now, so this Mercury retrograde in semi-sextile to Venus, let me just tune in here. There's a feminine energy here, and this aspect of awareness. I get a vibe that she's trying to help us to be made aware of certain things through this Mercury retrograde energy in Leo, highlighting a lot of stuff and things. I'll just tune into that a bit more. Mercury retrograde semi-sextile Venus. Believe it or not, it's almost like she's pushing this retrograde stuff to happen. It's like she's there helping this Mercury retrograde stuff to come up or to occur or be brought to the light in some way, to be made aware through this in some way. I've talked about in previous videos, there's this supportive feminine energy that is very strongly like coming through in a lot of this stuff that I'm doing. And I feel like now through this, she's, whatever this is she's pushing for this awareness. She's pushing for this Mercury retrograde stuff to happen, to push for some kind of awareness or something that is coming through here with that vibe. Also, we have Venus here in that quintile to the south node peaking on this day. So let me just tune into this energy. Venus in quintile to the south node in Virgo. Yeah, I'm getting this, like, it's almost like these pointing the finger. It's like, you know what you need to let go of. There's these things it's like, you know what you need to let go of. Okay, and I'm getting the vibe now that relates to this Mercury stuff, as Mercury rules Virgo, so it's ruling the south node energy, and what is being brought up or being brought to our awareness for whatever reason. It's like, you know what you need to let go of. So there's something going on here with this. I'm getting like... this quintile is almost like this stuff that's not hidden, but it's like it's there, and it's like, okay, it's like, you know that this is here. You need to let go of it now. You need to release this now. Okay, and it's regarding a lot of maybe practical certain things, because the south node is in Virgo, that maybe need to be, released in some way with this. All right, that's Tuesday the 5th. Let's move on to Wednesday the 6th here. On this day, we're going to have Mars moving into Libra. Of course, this doesn't happen until like a bit later. Yeah, not till like 5:30 p.m. So it doesn't show yet on this chart, it's because of how I have it set. But you can see at 29 degrees, Mars will move into Libra later on Wednesday. Now, let me tune into this Mars in Libra energy. Initially I felt like a very balanced energy. It's like, what I kind of felt like is there's a feminine energy, because Venus rules Libra, even though Libra is technically a masculine sign. But what I got was, she's not fucking around, is the initial energy that I got with this. Okay, and it's relating to a certain aspect of balance and justice that is occurring here. Okay, so let me continue to tune into this a bit more. Mars and Libra. Yeah, it's basically about taking action towards like this justice and a balancing that is occurring here. And that energy of, like I said, it's like she's not fucking around. That's literally what I get with this Mars energy coming into Libra this time. Now, of course, prior to that, we're going to have Mars here in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So this could maybe relate to that she's not fucking around type of energy, but let me just tune into this for a moment here. This Mars in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith. I'm almost getting this Lilith energy of, she's like, yeah, I'm not messing around. Okay, initially, because this is happening in Virgo, I'm getting this wanting to take action. This very strong feminine energy is like, yeah, I'm not messing around, but it's wanting to take action to ultimately fix things. And then with the shift into Libra, it's to find like this balance and justice through taking that action that is occurring there. Okay, so there's this Virgo energy. It's like focusing on the details, saying, okay, this is what we got to fix, this is da-da-da-da-da. And then as we enter into Libra, it's then taking action to be like, okay, we got all our ducks in a row here. It's like we're going now to seek this balance, this justice, this whatever, through this strong, it seems very strong feminine energy, but strong, like, there's still that underlying feminine energy that is there. Also on this day too is this Sun in square to Black Moon Lilith. Now let me just tune into this. Sun in Leo in square to Black Moon Lilith. It's a very strong, it just feels like very strong Lilith energy. Again, Lilith is like, I want to say if the feminine energy was expressing as masculine, is how I would but I don't want to necessarily downplay the aspect of feminine energy. The feminine energy is very strong, but it's like, what I mean by that is in terms of our old world thinking surrounding that is thinking, well, the masculine is this powerful, and it's like that where men are like better than or something like that. It's fucking bullshit. But what I mean, but it's that aspect of like men have power. But what I mean is that the feminine does actually have power, the same as the masculine. It's always been like that, okay? But it's just in a different way. But what this Black Moon Lilith expresses is this badass feminine energy that's very independent, willing to take action, willing to do all this stuff, but is still a feminine energy, but is almost expressing in those masculine ways, is what I'm trying to say with that. Now, and with this square to Leo, which is a very strong masculine energy, it's like, it's really like pushing for that in a lot of ways. So let me tune into this Sun square Black Moon Lilith again. It's like these two energies working together. They're together. Remember, a square is like pushing for resolution, but it's these two energies really pushing for this action to be taken. Okay? And I feel like this positive, masculine, expressive energy of Leo with this badass, I don't give a shit, I'm gonna do what I gotta do energy of Black Moon Lilith. But it's like there's no negative stuff between them. It's like they're two different things, but they're pushing to work together. It's like this, and again, this goes with this aspect of astrology where people think squares are bad or oppositions are bad or all of that. They're not bad. It's an aspect. You can make it seem bad, but it doesn't have to be bad. It's like the energies can still work together in a positive way. How are you approaching it is what I would say. With astrology and with this energetic template, it's how you use it. If you want to play victim and let it walk all over you, that's your fucking problem. That's your issue. Okay? But that doesn't have to be how this gets used at all. All right? This can be used in a very positive way. And it's these two strong energies that are almost walking like side by side together to push for whatever needs to occur with this. This is very strong energy. This is a very strong feminine energy, and this is a very highlighted masculine energy that is coming through with this as well. Okay, anything else with this Sun in square to Black Moon Lilith here? But yeah, it is that Leo energy helping. It's that highlighting of this intense, strong, feminine, like, let's get this fucking done kind of an energy. It's very strong and transformative in Scorpio, that Black Moon Lilith energy. There's very strong power there. And Scorpio is a very strong, powerful feminine sign, feminine energy as well. All right, so that's Wednesday the 6th. Let's move on to Thursday the 7th here. So where we're going to have this Sun in semi-square to Mars. Now we can see Mars at its 0 degree of Libra. Okay, and then Venus in quintal to Chiron. So this Sun in semi-square to Mars. Let me just tune into this here. Sun in semi-square. Okay. Sorry, my mind got a bit off track for a second. Okay, Sun in semi-square to Mars in Libra. Is highlighting an aspect of balance. I feel there's a masculine energy coming through here. It doesn't necessarily feel positive though. I can't tune in this part. It's almost like, oddly enough, pushing away a negative masculine energy or negative masculine behavior. It's like no. It's like this Leo energy needs to be positive masculine. We've got Mars which you could say represents a very strong masculine energy as well. It rules Aries in Libra, seeking that aspect of balance here. So it's almost like this energy, and then it's like, no, we can't behave like that anymore. We can't do that anymore. We need to seek appropriate balance and justice here surrounding this masculine energy. Okay, let me tune into this a bit more. Sun in semi-square to Mars. Yeah, it just feels the same. It's highlighting, it's this aspect of balance, highlighting that masculine. It's like, no, you got to behave. Okay, it's like seeking this aspect of balance to this masculine energy. It's like, no, we can't enable this toxic masculine stuff anymore. We need to learn to balance this out and express in a more, positive, balanced way. All right, and I feel like as Venus is ruling this Libra energy, and Venus is in Cancer, as that very strong feminine energy right now that is really helping to support and balance this out in some way too. All right, so also on this day we've got Venus there in this quintile to Chiron retrograde. So let me just tune in here to that Venus and quintile to Chiron retrograde. Now, I feel like this relates to what I said last week about Chiron retrograde, as in standing up for what's right for those who have been hurt and victimized. But this feels like now this strong feminine energy that is there helping to support those victims, or in some way, or to support that, ultimately to heal that. It's like, hey, this is where we've gone wrong. Hey, this is where things have been hurt. Hey, this is what's been going on here. It's now time to kind of see this. And maybe this does relate to this Sun in semi-square to Mars, is maybe where there has been a masculine energy, or someone presenting a masculine energy or acting in that way that was very negative. Again, when I say masculine, I don't necessarily mean someone with a penis. All right? I really don't. Because we have both masculine and feminine energy within all of us, regardless of your physical gender or your gender expression or whatever. That's all, of course, still valid. You came here to play the character you're meant to play, whatever. But we all still have those energies within us, okay? And we all express those energies in some way. All right? So, and that's, and we're oftentimes conditioned by society to express one or the other or whatever in a certain specific way, when that's not necessarily the most best way to be using or expressing those energies. All right, so that's kind of the vibe on that. Let me just tune in a bit more here to see if there's anything else. This Venus in quintile to Chiron. Yeah, it's, again, I hear this feminist like, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, there's this wounding energy here. It's like this standing up for, like I said, those who have been victimized or whatever. It's this, what are you doing? It's this feminine energy that's coming in. That's like, hey, now, again, I'm kind of being drawn to the fact that, this Cancer, it's this nurturing, like, mother type energy. And it's the mom. It's like, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be hurting each other, or church shouldn't be whatever. And it's helping to, it's like seeing where we've been like hurt or wounded, or it's like stuff that we shouldn't be doing that's ultimately hurtful or whatever, in that way, right? Okay, so let's move on to Friday the 8th here. Of course, on this day where people would technically say this is Lionsgate, but, I've already talked about that in this video. But here, we're going to have some interesting stuff. So first on my list here is this Sun in sesqui-square to Saturn retrograde. Okay, so the sesqui-square is like a super square, really strongly. It's like something that can't be swept under the rug any longer, kind of a vibe. So anyway, let me just tune into this. So that Sun in Leo in sesqui-square to Saturn retrograde. Feeling very strongly Saturn is like this aspect is like, okay, like have you learned this yet? Have you realized this yet? It's playing on that Sun in Leo to show this. in that masculine way. It's like the Leo energy feels like this positive masculine like leadership kind of a role. That's like, okay, like, have you learned this? Like we've got to really deal with this. It's like the serious side of Leo, but it's very still that heart-centered masculine that's like, okay, it's not going to yell at you, it's not going to be whatever, but it can see that maybe something is wrong, and it's like, okay, like, have you learned this? Have you done this lesson? Like, this is broken, this has happened like this, like, what are we going to do? All right, we've got to take action to deal with this. We've got to set Saturn appropriate boundaries. We've got to put in the work to do something about this. We got to set new goals. We got to do all this. And of course, in Aries, this can deal with like the sense of identity, sovereignty, etc. But I get also just a masculine energy that comes from this. It's like, okay, like, this has happened now. What are we going to do to fix this? What have we learned from this? Where are we going to grow? Saturn is that growth. There's an aspect of growth here. But there's like almost like this positive masculine like leadership vibe of this Sun and Leo energy that's like, hey, I'm not going to be a dick, but we've got to deal with this. We've got to face this. I'm the leader here. We got to, like, this can't be continuing to happen, right? Like, it's that aspect. It's dealing with it in an appropriate way, not in a bad way, is the vibe I get with this. Anything else with this Sun sesqui-square Saturn here? Really, I feel like it's the lesson of Saturn. It's Saturn really pushing for growth, and that idea of this positive growth. Now, like I said, it almost feels like it relates more to that aspect of that masculine energy than maybe the traditional, like what I've talked about before with like this idea with self-identity, whatever. I feel like this is more of a masculine way. It's almost like a lesson for this masculine. Be like, hey, we've got to maintain growth here, seek balance. Because we have to, it's like seek balance. This Mars and Libra type of energy, where with this feminine was like, I'm not fucking around. It's like this aspect of like seeking appropriate balance. It's like, okay, we've got to learn from this and grow from this and like move on in some way. That's how this feels to me. All right. Also on this day, interestingly enough, we're going to have that Mars in opposition to Saturn and trine Uranus. So let me just have a tune into this here. So this Mars opposition Saturn, let's start with that. Yeah, it's kind of the same. It's like a balance that needs to occur. It's like, okay, like, we can't do this anymore. This has to be, it's like, what I'm getting is like this this image of this feminine. It's like, okay, now it's the feminine that's almost like in more of like a masculine role, but is saying, okay, we can't do this anymore. Like, she's that powerful, like, okay, you can't do this anymore. We have to seek balance. We have to, balance this out in some way. And that's kind of what this feels like. It's that Saturn at Mars opposition to Saturn. Yeah, it's Saturn is just like, it's almost like, okay, you've been made aware of it now. Now what are you going to do about it? Now, how are you going to grow? How are you going to expand? You've been made aware of like the lesson, so to speak. It's like, okay, you've been made aware of it now. It's kind of what it gets, but it's like, okay, we can't do this now. We have to seek this balance and whatever through this. Now, this Mars trine Uranus. Let me just kind of tune in that Mars and trine Uranus. What I get with that is like this aspect of change, but it's almost like, what I get is like a uniqueness, like living your uniqueness with this. It's whatever this is, it's almost like there's a masculine energy that has been like, so what I get with it is like this negative, it's almost like a traditionally conservative vibe that's really like negative towards people who are different, like if you're gay or if you're whatever, like if you're, all that stuff. But it's like, oh, but this vibe is like, okay, you can't do this anymore. You need to learn, you need to grow, we need to seek appropriate balance here, is what I get. It's like, okay, we can't live this way anymore. And I'm not necessarily knocking like people who are conservative or whatever. But if you're in that negative mindset where it's like you think that your way is better, or people shouldn't exist in this way because they're gay or because they're different or whatever, it's like, no, it's like that. Honestly, that mindset itself is really just wrong, because people need to be who they are. Okay. And there's good and bad to all things. I'm not saying one side is better than the other, because it's simply not. There's good and bad to all sides of this, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with this, is the negative aspect of that, maybe aspect of conservatism, is where they're saying, oh, there's only one way to be, or it's like, no. It's like, no. It's like, that has to change. It's like, we need to learn, we need to grow, we need to seek balance and justice in some way with this, and really learn to heal that, and learn to love unconditionally for who we all are and what that is. It's a really interesting kind of an energy coming through here. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of growth, honestly, it feels like from a masculine energy perspective, in terms of that kind of a vibe coming through, oddly enough. Anything else with this Mars trine Uranus here? Yeah, it just seems like balance and justice towards those who are different, and seeking aspect towards change, right? Towards these things, but in ultimately a positive way. And you have to remember that what I get through with this is a general vibe, and I'm getting these things in order to find a way to explain what these energies are and what they're doing. Okay, and it's like anything, so pay attention to that. How this is going to affect you specifically requires like a personal reading. Like, this is a general vibe. Specifically for you, is you would need a reading on your own. And I'm not just saying this to just sell readings or something. I'm saying this because that's just how it works, right? You want something specific for you, you got to have the reading specific for you. Okay, but general reading isn't going to cut it for that in that way, right? Okay. Also on this day too, we're going to have the sun here in sesqui-square to Neptune. So let me just tune into this here. The sun in sesqui-square to Neptune here. I almost feel like a strong depth to this, like an underlying hidden energy that it's like, okay, like, have you learned this now? It's like, it's almost like this stuff that was hidden that is now coming up to the surface, and dealing with that conjunction to Saturn there as well through this, with Saturn also sesqui-square the sun. It's like this depth of what has been hidden that's now coming up. It's like, okay, have you learned this now? That's what it feels like that is. It's being highlighted again with this Leo energy, being highlighted with everything that I've already talked about. But that's the vibe that I'm getting with this. Anything else with that sun sesqui-square Neptune? It feels very flowing, very, like I said, it's like hidden stuff coming up. It's like you're kind of being like, oh, like it's also like introspective energy. It's like when I talked about Neptune retrograde, it was like the very introspective energy regarding maybe what's been hidden beneath the surface. You have to go within kind of a vibe, and that's kind of really what that feels like with that again as well. And that inner stuff being highlighted. And like I said, with this, like, do you get this now? Kind of an energy. Okay, so then we can move on to Saturday the 9th here, when of course we're going to have this full moon in Aquarius happening early morning. It's at 1:55 a.m. here Central. So yeah. Okay, let me just tune into this full moon in Aquarius here. This full moon in Aquarius. Initially feeling a strong Aquarian energy. It feels a lot surrounding shifts and changes, honestly, really. It's almost like that sun, and it's almost like it's more Aquarian than it is Leo. Okay, even though the sun is in Leo highlighting this moon in Aquarius, it feels more Aquarius to me than it does Leo here. Okay, actually, what I'm kind of getting with this is, so I was talking about decans before, and we're in the second decan of Leo here, but the moon is in the second decan of Aquarius, which of course, if you look at the next air sign, is ruled by Mercury. And what's in Mercury's sign of Gemini? Well, Uranus. So there's a mercurial vibe. It's almost like an aspect of change, and Mercury's retrograde here as well. So it's almost like we're really highlighting this aspect of what changes need to occur. It's like these shifts and changes, and what it feels like is through this is like a leveling up, progress, really, as that Aquarian, like Uranian vibe. Anything else surrounding this full moon in Aquarius? Ultimately, with the full moons relating to release, it's releasing what's in the way of that shifting forward, really. It's like, okay, what I'm getting with this sun in Leo is it's the supportive masculine energy that's like pushing for this Aquarian shift and change to be occurring here with this. But like I said, it feels very Aquarian. And it's regarding, I'm almost feeling like earth changes too. Like something with the earth. It's like changes with the earth or whatever, but it's ultimately like something's got to change. Like it's related to this aspect of change. I don't know. That's the vibe with that. Also on this day too, we're going to have this Mars in opposition to Neptune now. Okay, let me just tune into this here. This Mars in Libra opposition to Neptune. It's almost like that, like I said, with whatever that aspect was to Neptune before, it's like this, do you get it now? But now with this Mars energy, in order to seek appropriate balance and justice in some way. There's a balancing that's occurring here with that Mars energy to take action towards that space through whatever this do you get it now kind of energy with that Neptune retrograde in Aries actually is. Because really, Mars rules Aries, and now Mars is in Libra and opposite to Neptune in Aries. But Mars is in Libra, like I said, that action to seek balance in some way. With that Libran energy. Let me just tune into it a bit more with that Mars in opposition. Yeah, it's just that feminine energy of that Neptunian that's like really pushing for this. It's like, do you get it now? Do you get it now? I don't know. That's what I get with that. Okay, so we've reached the end of the week here. Let me just bring it back to me. So let me just tune in here for an overall, let's try to do this like what would affect maybe as a general vibe on an individual level. Okay, this isn't going to be specific for you or for anyone, but just a general vibe on maybe like a personal individual level. Let me just tune in to what this energy would be as my tummy grumbles. What this energy would be on an individual level for this week. Okay, I see both energies. It's very much focused on feminine, but there's a feminine and masculine energy, but it's like represented more in the feminine, kind of standing there just like looking at what's happening. Almost like in awe, but like looking at it and just, it's like that vibe of that Neptune said. It's like, okay, like I get it now. It's odd. It's really weird, but it's like looking at it and it's like, fuck, like, okay, I get it. We've got to do something about this now. It's like, I get it now. We've got to do something about this now. But I feel like what I'm seeing is focused on the feminine, but there's like, what I get is like, maybe there's the support of like a masculine energy behind her through this. I get it now kind of a thing. And again, this doesn't necessarily deal with your physical gender expression. This is just like a general energy, but remember, we have both masculine and feminine within us. So it could be the feminine aspect within us being supported by the masculine aspect within us through in what I'm saying with that, right? Now, let me just tune in like on maybe a global socio-political economic kind of a level, a global level. Let me just tune into the energies for this week. Initially, I get like more earth stuff, like earth changes. And of course, more of that other, it's weird. I got like this crawling dark energy that's like crawling around the earth, that's like trying to, it's still what I talked in the last couple videos. It's like trying to hang on in some way. It's trying to move from place to place to still try to get a hold on something. But it's like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's kind of the energy that I get with that. It's like this weird dark, it's like crawling around trying to get a hold into something again, but it's like it can't. It's like that it's not. It's not. It's not. Anything else with that collective energy? It's almost like it's getting pushed out more and more. That dark negative energy, it's getting pushed out more and more through the chaos. Ultimately, through the chaos that is happening. It's getting pushed out more and more. So that's it for this week. If you have made it this far in the video, leave a purple heart in the comments so that I know you're a real one. And of course, I appreciate you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in next week's video. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Bye.